Hi, everyone. So the NET exam just got over and everybody is wondering what happened, right? Because the questions were not what people expected. Because the questions were pretty long, and even in paper one, it was more analytical questions. Well, in some set exams, especially in one Northeast SLET, this has happened. This kind of analytical questions have come, and very, very long questions where even within one question, there are many 4 or 5 questions included, which means you should be very smart at reading quickly, which is why you should never prepare for NET exam in Hindi medium. If you are writing English, you should study in English, because otherwise in the question paper itself, there will be these hurdles and you will not be able to overcome it in the exam hall. You should have a great experience reading English, and many questions, like always, is common sense questions. Well, as you write the exam, the thing is, you will not be able to understand this. You will think it is very difficult. I'm sure that there were many difficult questions because it's a national level exam. And I'm also sure that even though some of you think that it was difficult, you might have actually done well. You might have actually got it right. The challenge was in big, long, lengthy questions. The challenge is to understand that it is simple. You have to read it and understand and know that it is actually simple, for which it takes time. Many people were saying that they took a pretty long time to do paper one and you did not get enough time for paper two. Well, I have made a PPT for paper one and paper two both. Jobin will do paper one and I will do paper two. And this PPT covers not only the questions that we got from students, but also the percentage of questions. And I'll also try to tell you how to deal with it. I know that I don't have the answers to everything. If I had, I would have taught you like that. The thing is, 6 months is not enough to prepare for this exam. If you take just shortcuts and try to prepare, you are not getting anywhere. First and foremost, you should have experience reading English and understanding quickly, for which I always tell you, do research on your own, reading on your own. Secondly, start as early as possible. If in the first year of FY UGP itself you start preparing for NET, that is even better. Do not wait until all your classes are over, all your degree, post-graduation, all your courses are over, and do not start studying then. Because preparing for NET is not just mugging up questions for an exam. Preparing for NET is studying the subject thoroughly, understanding the concepts thoroughly, understanding the authors thoroughly. A lot of questions came from our encyclopedias and cue pads, and people who studied these really, really well, especially previous year students, they have been saying that they were able to answer many questions easily. But some questions or many questions were not easy. They were convoluted, analytical, etc. So that was a challenge. Why you should study in a thorough manner is because when you know things in a thorough manner, you will be able to eliminate options. That also worked this time, as always. So whatever strategies we have been following, like studying the basics and the authors thoroughly, that is very good, because many questions are like that still. And reading on your own, doing research and understanding along with the basic foundation that people like me give you, that is also very important. Your work is very important. Mugging up somebody's material is not enough. You should be able to analytically understand from what you know in the exam hall. And many people who were not stressed, relaxed, must have done well, because in one reading, if you're not stressed in one reading, you will be able to make out, yeah, this must be it. This is the answer. This is the meaning of the question, like that. So our strategies are not wrong, but we need more time. So start at the earliest. Do not wait till you have cleared your MA course and all your education is done and dusted. Then let me prepare for NET. It is not like that. You have to start preparing for NET at the earliest, as soon as you can. That is what I get from here. So let us now go into the PPT. I will do paper 2 first, and then we will move on to Jobin's paper 1. So June 2025 NET question paper analysis. We are going into paper 2. I have here a pie diagram, which I hope will make some sense. I have written here that maximum number of questions came from criticism theory and maybe English and India. I may not be completely right in this 21% for linguistics and research. Somewhere between 17 and 21, there were questions from English in India, criticism and theory, linguistics and research. That is the nature of the questions, I think. Maximum number of questions must have come from criticism and theory and culture studies. That is what people say. And English in India also, quite a number of questions were there. Linguistics were there. Research were there. British literature was there. And rest was 5%. This is not a very correct pie diagram. Slightly from here to here, some margin should be given. 15 to 20%, maybe. All the big ones are 15 to 20%, maybe. British literature was there, but the ones that they asked were easy. And many questions were from terms also. So I have made another pie diagram here saying chronology questions were 21%. Terms questions, definition of terms or who coined the terms, that were also like 21%. Match the following questions were like 21%. But there is a big problem here, guys. This match the following is not like one word matching with another word, not like that. Match the following questions were also like analytical. Match the following questions were also big questions. You had to read a lot, it seems. Statement type were there. Statement types mixed with match the following. Chronology mixed with match the following. Like that it was. And this means that earlier, if you know one or two, you will be able to get the answer. But this time, many questions were there that were unfamiliar. Culture studies, we studied the basics, but they are asking more and more advanced questions from culture studies. So wide kind of reading. So what we are going to do at Bhalat is, all our faculty will be like students. Instead of teaching what we already know, we will be like students. We have already been doing that for the past 1 or 2 years. We will study along with you, collect more and more information, and our classes are becoming more and more like combined study classes, where 3 or 4 people who are teaching you, more than that. Altogether, there are 14 faculty members at Bhalat. So all the people who are teaching you will be studying with you, getting more and more information, collecting information from syllabi, from other question papers, like university level question papers, and set question papers also. Some of the set exams are very difficult exams. So like that we will study. That is what we have been doing. That is how we have been able to upgrade our knowledge also. Direct questions were there, but direct questions were big questions. Direct questions were also not just one question finished, not like that. They have the trick of putting many questions into one question. So that is the problem. Chronology, people think that chronology is all about mugging up, but that is not exactly how you should look at it. Chronology is not about mugging up. Chronology is about understanding deeply so that you understand a concept or an author or a work in the right perspective. That is what chronology is. So chronology questions are also, analytical questions these days. Right. And then we have quotations, some quotations, but I have a, slide. I have a slide where all the questions that I got from students are also there. Those quotations are from works that we should read, actually. Virginia Woolf was there. Frost at Midnight was there. So quotations means you should read original texts. Do not just depend on summaries. Many times they have asked quotations in previous years. Always, not only many times, always they have asked. So please remember, when you prepare, reading original text, especially poems, it is very important. And one or two questions at least I heard about what did people say about other authors, etc. That is also important. As you know, in criticism, they ask about what did this critic say about this work. Such questions were there. Some people were saying that there are questions based on the previous year questions. We have a PYQ course, and some questions were based on PYQ course. So that must have helped. I know that in the exam hall, in front of that computer where your mouse is not always working, or the scenario is not very happy and you are stressed out, you may not be able to recognize what you know and what you don't know. I have only one thing to say for everybody who is preparing and writing. You have to stay calm. You have to understand that, okay, this is simple. Let me tackle this. I will be able to do this. So it should be fine if you just think calmly. Many of you have done that. I'm happy. But, it is a stressful situation, whatever I say. So, we have to deal with it. Maybe we need more and more practice with big questions. In some PYQ, in some PSC exams for lectureship, like for example, DSSSB exam, where teacher recruitment exams, when you look at, you see that giving an excerpt from a book and asking questions about it is a trend. And I always had this feeling that they will start asking questions about Indian history. So right now, the questions from Indian history aren't that many. Even if they ask, they are still related to education and what we should know. We might not know, but it is what we should know. So there is nothing to fear. But one day they will be asking pure Indian history, I feel. So that is a problematic area. Shall I go into the questions so that you will be able to see what are the questions that were asked? Many of you will remember more than I do, or my students told me. So please remember that what I'm showing you is not perfect. It is just based on memory. I'm looking at your live chat also. John Macefield, I have not included here. I know questions were very, very long. That much time staring at the screen is impossible. And also one more thing, when you are looking at the computer screen and reading a long question, you will tend to forget what, already you read. Towards the end of the question, you will forget what you read at the beginning, right? So we need practice reading like that. I heard that match the following of lines from books were there, like Under the Greenwood Tree, Song from the Tempest, When Curfew Tolls the Knell of Parting Day, right? And Kipling is always a favorite. This match the following is also not very challenging, isn't it? Two of the options are at least easy, that I heard. Kipling is always a favorite with the net question paper setters. Kipling's stories, Kipling's poems, Kipling's novels, everything they have asked in the past years. So it is good if you just, like a reader, get to know Kipling more and more. Complete short stories of Kipling, like that you should look at in the library. Only then you will be able to understand many questions. So Mrs. Bathurst set in South Africa. Thank you, Muskan and Vaishali. I'm seeing your messages. Then subtitle of Goldsmith's Traveller was asked. prospect of a society. That is a direct question from our encyclopedia. How many parts was Middlemarch published in? Victorian period is a very favorite area for all the examiners. Victorian period, you should know really well. And as I told you in my classes sometimes, when you read an author or a book in our encyclopedia or in the class, or when you read summary, etc., it is very important to look up that book and author more and more. What have people written about them? What are the research papers about them? What is there in Wikipedia about them? What is there in Britannica, Encyclopedia Britannica about them? Like that, we need to do research. I heard that there were 3 questions from D.H. Lawrence alone. Match the following characters of authors is one that people remembered. And which of the following is a work written by Joseph Conrad? It is not a work that we know. It is a very rare work. It is not even there in Wikipedia. Somebody was saying Tales of Unrest is the answer, it seems. So some of these authors are repeated, which is what I have told you in PYQ classes and also marathon also. The sure shot authors that we make for an exam, the sure shot authors, many of you have the sure shot authors. Sure shot authors, you should go into depth. In depth, you should go into sure shot authors because they always ask from sure shot authors. That is very important. All these questions that they have asked in the exam are from the sure shot authors. All these questions are from the sure shot authors only. So let me now go on to the next slide. This question is from Coleridge. Frost at midnight. My babe so beautiful is a line from Frost at Midnight that they asked. Oh, thankfully, many of you have marked correctly. I can see from the chat. Which poem is not by William Cowper? My students were not able to remember the options. Then there was a question on Erzählungsroman. I have always taught this in the classes, but maybe you did not attend the class or maybe you did not, remember. Erzählungsroman is a very simple question. It is a novel of education. Like Kunstlerroman is a novel of an artist, a novel of development of an artist. Novel of development through education is Erzählungsroman. Then there were 5 statements asked from Charles Lamb. Ria is reminding me there was a question on Frankenstein, Modern Prometheus, Sibyl, 2 Nations, match the following. And she's saying encyclopedia helped a lot. Thank you very much. J.S. Mill's Subjugation of Women, Sebi, quotes and statements were there. Quotes and statements. These statement type questions, I'm again reminding you, many times you are misled into preparing for the English exam in Hindi. Please do not do that because in the exam hall, you won't be able to understand an answer. So full English only you should study. Don't go and look at summaries in Hindi or anything like that because it can be very dangerous in the exam because statement type questions are there. And also read about the book. They are always checking whether you've read the book. So that question from Poetics also was like that. Subjugation of Women was also like that. Only if you read about it, read in detail, go in depth into summary. If you just know some points there, that is not enough. You have to look at it as a text. Now, that is a revelation for all of us. We will start teaching like that. W.B. Yeats's poetry questions were there. There was a question on De Quincey knocking on the gate in Macbeth. We are right now talking about British literature, guys. That is why I'm not going into feminism and culture studies and all that. All that slides are coming in the rest of the PPT. Right. Scenes from Provincial Life is George Eliot. Swarit is asking. It is not by Cowper. Scenes from Provincial Life is... I think many questions were actually simple, but in the stress of the exam, you might not have been able to think clearly. Now we'll come to English in India questions. I think that is the second biggest area, the most important area. In 1991 census, how many scheduled languages were included in the constitution? That is actually a simple question, but you will get confused by 1991, etc. This is not a question about census. This is a question about how many languages were primarily there in the Constitution. 18. 18 languages were there in the Constitution. So they have the habit of asking a question in too much detail so that what you know for sure you will get confused about. This is a question that you know for sure. But, oh, Pallavi, Thomas Dekker, Thomas Middleton, master following was there. I didn't know that. I have not included it. The first blueprint on English education, like that they asked. People say it is Charles Grant. I don't know for sure what the question was. And they say there is a chronology of commissions. Chronology question on education commissions also. We have seen that in a previous exam 2-3 years ago, education commissions chronology was asked. Education commissions is a favorite of the author, sorry, of the question paper setters. So that is important. And then the serpent and the rope, 2 leaves and a bud, that was there. Okay, so serpent and the rope, 2 leaves and a bud. I don't know what are the other choices, options that were asked in that match the following. I was just checking the, oh, Bowman and Fletcher was also there. Unity and time and place question was there. Right. Now, there was a question I heard on Girish Karnad and Hayavadana. Sorry for the spelling mistake. Tagore's Gaur, The Flute of Krishna by Krishna Swami. All these are questions that we have, authors and works that we have given in Sure Shot and Encyclopedia. So Indian Literature Encyclopedia, many people were saying was really helpful. Those who have the Indian Literature Encyclopedia, please go through it. That first book and second book are both very useful. Match the following place was there, it seems. Bend in the Ganges was there. Yeah, I know Vaishali question paper was tough because it's a national exam and obviously you can't expect it to be easy. We can only help you to make it as easy as possible. We cannot predict the questions. We cannot, expect that only this they will ask. I can only take you as far as Sure Shot authors and with your people who have done their own reading told me that it really helped. Right. Rigveda hymns were there. Akbar's experiment, many times the question looks tough, but the reason for the answer is easy. Akbar's experiment is not a tough question. Because of all the Mughal emperors, only Akbar was there who was interested in education and science and experimentation and all that. I'm sure many of these questions can be challenged also. When the answer key comes, we'll see, right? So as I've told you before, the question might look difficult, but with the existing knowledge and common sense that you have, with the general knowledge that you have, many times you can guess it, right? Then there was no question from contemporary Indian literature or Dalit literature. December exams are usually easier. June exams are more difficult and challenging. That is what people say. So what will be December exam? You don't have to worry. It will be easier. I can tell you. I know, Pallavi. Whatever you're saying is difficult is actually not knowledge-based. It is more general knowledge and common sense-based questions. General knowledge and common sense cannot be mugged up. You have to get it from experience. So listening to me teach or reading on your own, brushing up what you already know from your previous BA, school level, all that actually helps. People who have done their school level education very well, people who studied BA thoroughly, all that is important. Right. Now, let us go on to criticism and theory questions. Criticism and theory questions. Criticism, theory, culture studies. I know that this was the area that was super difficult and many questions were there from this area. So as you know, it is not enough to mug up. You have to read on your own. Read entry, Wikipedia entries or Britannica entries or read books, read research papers, look at what is the what are the people quoted here? Who are these people? Which area are they from? That kind of general knowledge is required of any university level student, right? Mugging up is what a primary level student does. In a primary school or in a upper primary school, you can do mugging up because you will have a textbook and only those questions will come. But study like a university level student. How will a university level student study? They will do research on their own. They will do their own reading. They will do their thinking. They will listen to people, not YouTubers, but you should listen to lectures, that kind of experience. You should listen to, lectures. You should listen to, people talking about, in seminar papers, for example, like that. So Jobin is here waiting for paper 1. I will do this quickly. Aristotle's Poetics, order of statements was there. As I have told you before, look at criticism. I am not very surprised because whatever I have been saying is actually proven right. I have said that do not just mug up criticism. Treat criticism theory books like texts. Look at them like texts, not just mugging up a few points, but you have to look at them like a text. That is why they asked about poetics like that. Poetics, Republic, books like that, you are supposed to read. So such books, they can ask you what is the opening line, what is the order of statements, like, that comes in the exam, like that. I know it is very challenging. It is easier said than done. If you think it is easy, that you can quickly pass by attending a course, it is not enough. You need to really more and more and more read on your own, study on your own, with guidance. Without guidance, you will be lost. You won't be doing all this. With proper guidance, you should do your own reading also. Shakespeare was the Homer, easy quotation. From Derrida and Bakhtin, 2-3 questions were there. Feminism, many questions were there, it seems. Female eunuch and feminine mystic was what students remembered. Bricolage, Levi-Strauss. Deterritorialization, Deleuze and Guattari. I only know Deleuze and Guattari, but I think they asked whether it was Deleuze or Guattari, right? Then ontotheology. As far as I know, ontology means being. And Heidegger has talked about ontology and theology also, in being and time. So ontotheology is about being of God. I think the Heidegger is the answer. Trace. Lacan talked about it. Derrida obviously talked about it. It's easy because Derrida is easy. Panopticism. Who said ideology is the most conceptual category in cultural studies? Graham Turner. I didn't know that. But Graham Turner is quoted in many online sources. This line is quoted. If you study, if you get extra reading and extra research, then you will get through. You will get all this information. J.C. Ransom and Agamben were there in the reminder. I don't know this. I didn't understand what this is. And there are unknown names from culture studies, students said. So culture studies, we have to really go in depth. Then from non-British literatures, Frankfurt School members were there. Non-British literatures, father of South African poetry was there. I have not been teaching, this. I'm sorry for that. Patrick White question was there. Statements from Arthur Miller and Henry James. And American Dream. Who wrote American Dream? Many people wrote American Dream. I have taught that in some of the marathon revision classes, etc. So, Frankfurt School members, I saw Tashi and, Swarit, etc. Yeah. Do you know why they're asking from Wikipedia is because they want students to do at least reading of Wikipedia. They are thinking, okay, even if you don't have money, even if you don't have books, even if you are a person who is very busy, you can do Wikipedia reading. Maybe that is why they are asking. So paper is tough because paper is not about mugging up, and it is not about, what you expect. It is about original reading and knowledge. I think in a way it is good. In many ways it is good. So that is why we are very research oriented these days. And, Instead of mugging up, we always tell students, read on your own, read on your own. I think that is the solution. Right. Now, linguistics. People were saying there were many questions from linguistics. Pidgin, Creole, idiolect, register, then babbling, cooing, then saussure. I have not clearly got the questions. Research-based questions were also there. Some W.R. Owen, I have no idea who that is. Maybe he has written a major book. And MLA citations questions were also there. Comprehension was easy, I heard. Poets, painters, artists, Wala comprehension. And one was Angelo's speech from Measure for Measure. So I'm not very surprised, even though I'm very sad that students, including my students, found it tough. It is because they are giving more importance to original reading and original knowledge. Not just by listening to some YouTuber or mugging up some summaries or something like that. We can't do. Like university level studying we have to do. That is why. That means your standard will improve, which is good. Isn't it, Jobin? How was paper one question? How were paper one questions?
Ma'am, actually, the pattern they have changed. Something they have changed, but there was questions like what we expected. There was question like more questions which we didn't expect. The sure short part were not there, but then also like it was doable only. Like with paper one, DI it was easy. The table was easy, not so much hard. Like the table didn't like make the people students lose their presence of mind and all. Usually they do like that.
Yeah, if DI is difficult, everybody gets flustered.
Yeah, but the table was easy. Just for I came to know that it was just was 4 rows and 2 columns. Like last time before that, there was 2 tables, and there was missing table date interpretation. But this was easy actually. Questions were also easy. Maths also it was easy. Like, and they asked more maths questions. I think I don't know whether they are planning from like a basic 10th level questions they were asking, like from the out of syllabus areas of all those things and all. But it was okay. Paper one was okay. I think. Yes. Can we
please move into your I will make you co-host and
yes. So it's a NTA June 2025 question paper analysis for paper one. So guys, with each topic, what we are starting with, coming to teaching aptitude. Usually we hear some of the sure short parts from Swayam. So from the learning theories, what we hear as Piaget and all, like we hear, but they have changed the trend towards now the taxonomy arrangement. Every when I go to the topic wise questions of all paper one, I can see chronology arrangement like the same as what you have in paper two also. So like taxonomy arrangement, like Bloom's taxonomy have been asked. Okay, different domains of Bloom's taxonomy has been asked, and then they are set to arrange. So the arrangement came, and cognitive domains question was also there with Bloom's taxonomy. So there are more questions are focused to the chronology arrangement or the taxonomy level questions. And there was a question regarding with the self-learning. There was a question. So, and then there was a question from digital initiatives. So it was it just was an expected question from digital initiatives. Like as we when the class we used to tell that you should study about Swayam Prabha, all those things. But this came from the National Digital Library, Shodh Ganga, Diksha, and all. So all those questions was from the teaching aptitude part. Okay. So coming to the research aptitude, you had a citation question. Oh, I think both paper two also research methodology was more. And in research aptitude in paper one, I think they asked citation and also in-depth question. This time they missed the sampling and types of research variables, then research misconducts, all those topics they didn't touch actually. I like last time there was 2 or 3 questions from sampling, but this time, and that was a trend following, like past 2-3 years, sampling question will be there. Other name of sampling, like what is this specific type of sampling means, like that question. But this time, the research aptitude, the question was like statement type of questions, but that we can expect. We used to do statement level questions in the revision classes and also in the classrooms. But like the topics enter the sure short part they changed. They asked about the correlation coefficient. That is such a in-depth level question from the analysis part. Usually they won't ask questions from the analysis part, but they ask. So inductive deductive approach, it is a part like you can expect question from. Types of research also, it was a match the following one. You had experimental. I heard about that. Students were saying experimental research, all those. That part was easy. And coming to communication, I heard that there were not much question regarding communication, but they should ask it. The syllabus says like 5 questions from each of the topics. And I heard that barriers of communication were asked. No theories were involved in communication part, but the questions were easy. Like you can connect with the answers and options. It was very easy to easy and yeah, no assertion reason questions were asked. Yeah, academic bank of credit, that was with the NTL. We discussed in the classes and all, academic bank of credits. Yeah, then coming to the mathematical reasoning, there were more number of questions from mathematical reasoning this time. In one question, there were different statements connected with mathematical questions and were asked to find which of them were right and all. So I think it was a bit time taking, but all discussed part what we have some out of the syllabus where from the match the following areas of figures. Mensuration is not from the syllabus. Actually, it is not mentioned in the syllabus, but as you know, the basics, area of a circle, sphere, cylinder, they asked, I think I heard like that. And ratio percentage and all we discussed, you know how to do. Compound interest we discussed, arithmetic series sum, all we discussed, but the areas of figures was not there in the the revision part and all, but that came out of the part that we discussed. In my class or Aparna's class, we didn't discuss the areas of figures and all. That is the question that came out of the syllabus. And Indian logical reasoning expected part, like Western, we expected square of opposition. We did many questions, but didn't ask square of opposition this time. Last time there were more questions. Not last time, the trend was square of opposition recently, but they changed to fallacies. Like we studied fallacies too, and deductive reasoning, valid soundness, and all we studied that too. And Indian logic, Vyapti, and the Indian logic's middle term, minor term, and all were asked that. They were telling that. Yeah, some could remember the a question for compound interest. 10,000 is the amount, 8% for 2.5 years time and all. Okay, very good. So coming to next one, data interpretation. As I told, actually DI was the part that you are very tensed of, but it didn't destroy your presence of mind because it was a simple table. It was regarding companies of 4 companies, like means the 4 rows were there and 2 columns or 2 or 3 columns. That's all. But it is simple. I heard that the questions were such a tricky one, but if you read it, if you had a presence of mind, if you read it twice or thrice, you will get the answer. Like you can go to the answer and all. And basically average percentage and ratio. And also I think that increase or decrease percentage was asking there with data interpretation. Coming to ICT full forms, every time, this time also I told you full forms are I think ICT part was easy because we expected full form. Like last time also full form they asked. So full for ARPANET full form they asked, CD compactors full form. Then computer generations, there were match the following with computer generations and which year. So I think the ICT part was easy, like that we expected only came. Higher education, like question from Rigveda, ancient education, like Rigveda, how many hymns in Rigveda, and NEP 1986. So when we discussed 2020, I told you 68 and 1986 is also important. 1986 we discussed about the action, Operation Blackboard and all. So it was expected. Commission chronology we expected, like we have Ajay Ramamurthy, like pre-independent and post-independent we studied. And UGC INI Act was INI Act, it was not in the syllabus. It was like when you discuss about UGC, like it's like Institutions of National Importance Act. And establishment years of institutions, that is in the trend. IITs and all, establishment of years of IITs, it was asked. Coming to people development, there was an easy question from, like usually they make it hard, but I got 2 questions from the students, like they asked MDG, how many NPGs are there? Very easy question. Usually they won't ask MDG. The trend was SDG, like actually MDG is over. by 2015, it was over, like SDG is now running him. So, but they asked MTG and also Paris Agreement, like that was a short part that we can have, right? So comprehension, it was, they told that it was a tough comprehension passage in paper one actually, regarding with personality. That was with comprehension, I can. So basically it was a, thank you, and moderate paper, I can like see with the part of, paper one. Not too much easy or not too much hard. Like, cannot say it is hard. All those questions you are like, it is, we are familiar with the questions that is. But we didn't get some of the questions what we are expecting. That's what. Research, we expected sampling, they didn't ask. Then square of opposition, we learned a lot, they didn't ask. Upstream, downstream, speed, distance, train question, we did a lot, but they didn't ask. Like we invested more time on that, but they didn't ask. Like the questions were like,
Robin,
yeah,
let
man.
me interrupt you. I want you to remind them that just because they didn't ask those questions now, that doesn't mean next time they won't ask.
No, ma'am. Yes, they will be asking,
They
because
will.
these things are like, they asked areas of figures that are just basic. They learn from 7th standard or 8th standard. Like when we study maths, we learn these areas. So they need a person who used to study all this. You accumulate knowledge and come and
Yes.
write the exam. That's what they need.
Yes.
Not just
I'm not
mugging up and writing
expecting
the answer.
the students to mug up in 6 months and then pass. They are asking them
Exactly.
to study from basics.
Exactly. That's what. That is why, like, basic easy questions also, like in between, the trick is that they ask the statement level harder questions, and then they ask how many goals are there for MDG. Just so the students were actually telling that like something happened to them or something like that. So they were okay. Such hard questions and then an easy question, they can trick you. That's what.
Yeah, and Jobin, from some important areas, not even one question was there in this exam for paper two, it seems, like
Oh,
Dalit literature or post-colonial,
yeah,
very few questions only.
yeah.
But next time, it is possible that there can
Yes,
be
yes,
focus on
yes.
post-colonial more than
We
other.
can't omit and learn, like,
You
just
know
we can't.
why? Because it also depends on the people who are setting the questions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But what is not fair, Jobin, is we are expecting 5 questions each from all areas, like you said.
Yes. But that should be done,
That's
ma'am.
not
That should
fair,
be done.
right? If they are
Yeah.
not asking 5 questions.
At least that should be done, because like we are having a, like, students are like giving, investing some effort there, right? By
Some, what do you
learning.
mean? Their
No,
whole
no.
effort they are
Yeah,
investing.
yeah. Like with paper two, more like British, Indian, all those literature, they're like,
So
they're
much.
investing their whole lifetime to study all those things, and then
Apart from the exam thing, Jobin, what I really like is it is actually increasing the standards of the students.
yeah, exactly.
They are learning so much. When they finally
Yes,
become professors, they will be real scholars. Students
exactly.
sitting around me, there are students sitting around me, they are laughing and looking daggers at me, but still.
No, ma'am, that helps them too. Like, those who learn, that helps these things, because, like if we are learning, if I am learning, if I am cracking the exam, I feel very happy. Like, a person which, like, who didn't learn and just went for the exam and pass, it doesn't work out.
No,
Like, it's
no, it
good for the
doesn't
future.
mean
It's
anything.
good
Yeah.
for the future too, because like good teachers should come up, good
Right.
professors should come up. That's
Yeah,
what.
exactly.
That's what I think.
We are very sorry if we have failed you and not really got you ready for this exam, but it's becoming increasingly impossible to do just that. I can only show you the areas, the authors, tell you what to do. It will take time. It's becoming more and more like that with every exam, because
Yes.
the nature of the exam, if at all it has changed like that.
Mm.
So let us resolve to read up more,
Yes.
and Jobin, we should give them more practice also.
Yes.
Let us revamp all our model tests and make
Yeah.
it, in our Valat, when we give model tests, one priority that we had was not demoralize the students.
Exactly.
Yeah, if we give them too tough and all, they will
Yes.
lose interest and they will feel very dejected.
But actually, like your first, like from the 10 model tests, we were able to give the like interface, like we were giving it in the website and all. But with that, I think our students will be utilizing from
Let
that.
us make a new set of questions which are more difficult and more
Yeah.
really central university level, you know. We have
That was
we have teachers working with us, very senior professors and all. They will all help us in that.
yeah. So
Well, let's do that.
yes.
Yes. Okay then. Thank you, everyone. Good night. I hope this discussion helped. I hope you are feeling calmer and you have a better perspective about the scenario. It is not just passing one exam, but larger than that, getting ready for a career. So don't be dejected. Be happy that you have learned so much. I'm sure many of you will pass this time. Otherwise, next time. It's always like that. Right. So thank you from all of us at Valat.
Thank you.
Our batches is going to start in a couple of days. Many of you were telling us in the chat box that you have joined the batch. Welcome to Valat. Let us undertake this journey to celestial city together. Remember, the journey to celestial city is not easy. It is full of hurdles. From the slough of despond to celestial city, you have to go life-threatening situations, and ultimately it pays off because you will enter heavenly Jerusalem. Jobin,
Yes.
I was referring to Pilgrim's Progress, the famous work. So thank you all. Good night. God
Thank you.
bless you all.
Good night. Good night.